Here in the Northeast, because of the consolidation of the dairy industry, there are many dairy barns that now sit idle, dark, and empty. Fortunately, many have found new life as part of a non-dairy livestock enterprise, be that beef, small ruminants, or in this case, swine production. Through this series of videos, we are highlighting the efforts of some livestock farmers to reimagine how these barns can be utilized. Though in various stages of updating, upgrading, remodeling, and/or retrofitting, they are transforming these facilities into successful hog operations. As you watch these videos, it might be helpful to remember that no two farms are alike, and no two farms have the same goals. What works well on one farm may not be so productive on another. Our goal is to spark thoughtful consideration on how you can transform your enterprise into an economically and environmentally sustainable operation. Hi, I'm Tim Terry. I'm the Dairy Farm Strategic Planning Specialist with Cornell University's Pro Dairy team. As part of our continuing series on the conversion of dairy facilities to hog facilities, we were at a farm in Cattaraugus County this afternoon, and we're going to look at what they have going on. Now, this would be a mid-progress farm. They've been here a while, they've gone into the barn, they know that there are things they want to work on, and as they go, they will make changes and hopefully get the system going. So let's take a look and see what they have going on inside. So here we are in one of the first pens in the barn. Some of the things we can look at is we've got a nipple waterer down here. Nice thing is it's at the low end of the pig pen here, so the moisture stays here. They have a nice area up here, high and dry, that they can lie on. We have this pen, and it's always nice to have extra pens so you can move animals along or you can hold some back. Here we have these three that the farmer has separated because they want to finish them a little bit different. For a 10 by 10 stall for these three, that gives them about 30 square feet per animal, which is almost twice as much as what you actually need. But again, they've been segregated because they want to finish them off a little bit differently. And then it also alleviates any overcrowding issues that might have been in the previous pen. So with the stall floor, and probably the most obvious thing you see is this little rut right here in the middle of the pen. This just comes from pigs being pigs. They love to root and dig and churn up anything they can. This was probably part of an old stall headlock. Going forward, what probably they would have to do is to fill that in with concrete and maybe slope it back to the gutter that is still here. That has only been filled in a little bit with hay and straw and some other things. We might be able to improve things by using some rubber stall mats in here. That would help cover up this trough that's in here, provide again a little additional softness and bedding for the animals. Now, some of the other things as we look in here, one again is the lighting. There is no lighting in here specifically. All we have is just this open window providing light. We talk about the window, of course, we talk about ventilation. The one thing that we may consider is that as winter comes, they're going to start boarding things up a little bit, tightening things up. And we've talked with the farmer and helped them understand that maybe only 2/3 of this window would be picked up. Some of the other areas where the wind is coming in, again, we would leave open just a little bit to make sure that we get those air exchanges. What we like to have, again, is air coming from one side of the building, coming through the pen, and then going out so that we get good ventilation, good air exchange. That said, some things we want to consider is where are we going to put these pens when we work this barn and improve things. Want to have things on kind of on a windward side, things that are going to allow that air to come in, come across the pigs, and go out again. Probably one thing we don't want to do maybe is put it on a north side if that is typically a very cold side. Well, of course, the north side really doesn't see the sun. So we aren't going to get a good incoming solar radiation on those animals. Now, that said too, during the winter, the north side is not that great. The south side is because it gets the sun. During the summer, that actually can work against you a little bit because they may be getting too much sun. And the north side, because it doesn't get it, tends to be a little cooler, maybe a little more comfortable for those animals. Now, one of the things we consider too is workability. In other words, how easy is it for you to work around the animals and to do what needs to get done? One of the things we're going to look at here in just a second is how easy is it for me to get in there if I was the herdsman trying to do what he had to do. Ugh. Well, it's doable, but obviously it's not too easy. And again, as we start talking about these stalls, you'll notice that as normal pig activity, they will have their dunging area in one place and their resting and eating area in another place. Now, bedding over here, we could use sawdust, we could use straw, old hay, especially if with the straw and the old hay, we can bring in a large quantity of it, call it a hay bomb or a straw bomb, set it in here. They will actually tear it apart, just being the pigs that they are, tear it apart, spread it around, and then they will often, in the cold weather, dive into it. So this gives them a little extra protection from the cold. A real opportunity for them going forward is to actually move these feed bins to the perimeter. That way they can recharge the feed bin from outside and not have to enter the pen. Be much easier, much more efficient for them. One other thing to note in here on this nice concrete floor, you'll notice that the gutters have been filled in on both sides and that there are no cracks in here. It's a nice uniform surface. That way it does not give them a chance to come in here and dig and rut and further destroy the concrete. Another thing we want to talk about in here in this pen is the lighting. Now, we do have one light here, and at least that's over the animals' resting area. This is where the animals are going to spend most of their time. So now, at least when the herdsman comes in to take a look, they have a way to give them a good looking over. Now, for the rest of this, it'd be nice to have another light over here just so we can see what's going on, keep track of what's happening in the pen. All right, ventilation again. In these older barns, it can be quite a challenge, especially this one that was built before the turn of the last century. Now, we often have quite a few openings in these older barns. We've got a nice big opening over there, but in order to get the air to where we really want it, in other words, right over top of the pigs, we may need to do a little remediation, redirecting some of this. A good stopgap solution to this is some of these very inexpensive box fans. But again, this is just a stopgap because we have some potential safety concerns here. And what we really want to do is eventually get a hardwired fan that is mounted in the wall that is properly wired and safely grounded. All right, there we have it. A really nice mid-transition farm. The owners are doing well with what they have to work with, but going forward, again, they have some challenges in terms of lighting, ventilation, flooring, and the overall durability and workability of the system. Going forward with this, there's no reason they shouldn't have a very productive, efficient, and safe facility to work with.